We have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Tamir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coon. The white man to go nuts if he can't shoot. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
Queen.
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your
Ahmadiyah.
skin?
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations, I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
Touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I won't always smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Eric Malcolm.
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hate hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X to my jeans and I got...
Oh, Deb. I'm Kamala. Okay. Happy 50th birthday to hip-hop. When people think of me, okay, they think hip-hop. I grew up in Oakland. I'm wearing this shirt. I scream hip-hop. Hip-hop! So yeah, I'm into hip-hop. I want to give it up, okay, to all the greats. So Missy, TLC, ODB, DMX, okay, ABC, and LGBT, okay, Q, Lil Nas X. Giving it up. We here at the residence. It's lit. That's a word I have said before. A wise, okay, man once said, to the window, to the wall, okay, to the sweat, drop down my balls. Skeet, skeet, motherfucker. Skeet, skeet, goddamn. Those words are poetry, okay? I mean, it rhymes. So technically, that's poems. Happy birthday, hip-hop. Kamala out.
I absolutely cannot. All right, hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in once again to the QueenAShakur TV show. I'm your host, QueenAShakur, and this is the second dose of your Saturday vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. Who's in here? 504 Nola, Jeff ATL, RG Titan, Sandra, daughter of Y'all Clothed in Purple. All right, let's get into it. Desmond, shout out to the moderators putting in work. In Melanin We Trust. All right, Priscilla is here. C0p in the house. Jeremel, Bronze Flat Power God, Tracy. Okay, Stacy Quentin is here. C0p, April. All right, Reggie, I see you. So let's get into it. Dervis. All right. Now that was funny. Okay, so let's talk about it because now they're talking about, Biden just refuses to step down. Biden just won't have any of it. Even though everyone's calling for him to sit down somewhere, he doesn't want to. And so now the question is, are they ready for Kamala to take over in the event that Biden does, in fact, step down? I don't think they're ready. I don't think they're ready. And here's another thing, too. I'm going to play a video for you guys that I just happened to find where Biden was sitting up there. I know he was lying. Now, I've never heard him tell this story before, which leads me to think that it's absolutely fabricated. Now, he's talking about he was arrested for sitting on the porch with black folk. Please pay attention. When he was a teenager. And speaking of lies, do you all remember once in the chat, if you all remember that lying story that Kamala told when she said that, and I think it was back when she was running for VP and her and Biden were on the ticket. But remember the story she told where she said her mom and dad were at a protest? Picture her mom and dad at a protest. Hey, for black people, please pay attention. But she said they were at a protest or something, fighting for civil rights or whatever. And she was in the stroller. And then she said that she was just crying and being fussy. And her mom's like, Kamala, what's wrong? What's wrong with you? And she said, freedom. I want freedom. Do you all remember that lie that Kamala told once in the chat? Okay. Queen Sam said, what did he say? That he wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin? No, he didn't say that. Okay, so you all are putting ones because y'all remember she told that nefarious lie. Now, the real origin of that story is, in fact, a story that Dr. King himself told. Dr. King said that it was an 8-year-old child that he saw at a protest, I do believe, if memory serves me correct. But nonetheless, the child said something about freedom and couldn't really pronounce the word so correctly. Now, Kamala said that she was in a stroller and that she had the wherewithal to know about freedom and what they were fighting for. Girl, please sit down somewhere. And the fact that she said that her and her mom and dad were at a civil rights protest, that all said it all for me because she knows she needs to sit down somewhere. Okay, the lies. A lie doesn't care who tells it. Okay, as you'll see in a moment when I play this footage of Biden. But let's get into it because Biden said he can't stop, won't stop. All right, Biden continues to resist Democratic calls to end election campaign. So Democrats were caught in an apparent stalemate on Saturday as a dug-in Joe continued to endure high-profile calls to end his re-election campaign. After a week of astonishing party moves to unseat the president in favor of a candidate that many hope will be more likely to beat Donald Trump. Now, in the weeks since his disastrous debate performance against Trump, the 81-year-old Biden has attempted to fight off calls for him to step down from the top of the ticket amid concerns that his age and mental acuity are no longer up to the job. But a series of interviews, a press conference, and speeches have done little to quell party nerves. Let me tell y'all something. I find it all interesting because here's the thing. Did you all hear the speech that Trump gave at the RNC? Did you all hear that? Because they said Trump sounded like his cognitive skills were just as bad as Biden's. Did y'all hear that? Let me see if I can find it, honey. I heard it was all nefarious. I heard it was all nefarious. Said he just babbled. Okay, said he was just babbling the whole time. Sounded crazy. They said now if that had been Biden, everybody would have had something to say. But because it's Trump, they really just were a little quiet about it. It says Trump struggles to turn the page on American carnage. Hold on, let me see if this is it. Hold on, beloveds. Hold on, let me see if I can find this. Funny, I don't see it plastered all over the internet. This is what somebody says. One of the truly awful and self-indulgent performances of our time. The best and worst moments from night 4 of the convention. Then they say Trump's view of the world is a delusional fantasy. Somebody says Trump's speech wasn't just bad. It was mad and it was boring. Oh, well. They say hold on. Let me see what they say right here. I'm looking for where they're going to play it. Meet the new Donald Trump. He's the same old Donald Trump. Okay, I'm going to see if I can find that in a second, honey. But please stay tuned because I heard it was awful. I haven't heard it as of yet. Has anyone heard it? Queen Sam said his earpiece under that pillow, he couldn't hear good. Speaking of that, oh my Lord, have you all seen his followers? Have you all seen these people? Why did they all have that thing on their darn ear? Let me see if I got it on my Twitter. I'm pretty sure I do. They all was sitting up there with that thing on their ear. Every last one of them. I'm like, have they lost their minds? And then let's not forget how he had it on the wrong ear the other day. Oh, so crazy. Anyway, let's talk about, before we get into all of that, let's talk about Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, excuse me, who has passed away, unfortunately, after a long battle with cancer. Okay, so condolences to her family, friends, and loved ones. Whether you loved her or hated her, she was one of our people, and she did her work while she was here. Okay, so may she rest in paradise. And like I said, condolences to her family, friends, and loved ones. I'm going to share a post from X, formerly known as Twitter, that I retweeted. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance.
We begin with breaking news tonight. Less than an hour ago, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee revealed she has been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. The last time we saw the Congresswoman in Houston was at a Memorial Day event. Jackson Lee says as she goes through treatments, it's likely she will be occasionally absent from Congress. Now, in a statement to her constituents in the 18th district tonight, Congresswoman Jackson Lee said in part, quote, "Serving as your representative in Congress for 30 years is one of my greatest honors. Your hopes and aspirations inspire my efforts on behalf of our community every day," end quote. Our thoughts and prayers are with the Congresswoman tonight as she starts her treatment.
First of all, we have accusatory commentary of Soros DAs. Let us not put an individual that is not here, a contributing American, and jeopardize his life for always throwing his name out in the most ugliest of way. I am offended by that. Mr. Soros does not deserve that. He is an American and a patriot. And he also comes from a minority community, one might say, and you create a dangerous situation. That's unfortunate. First of all,
all right, there you have it. Like I said, rest in peace and condolences to her family, friends, and loved ones. Okay, so her son works for Chicago mayor, says Leon. Okay, nice to know, beloved. Thank you. Okay, so let us continue because this is all nefarious. As I said, I'm going to tell you all that these people are calling for Biden to step down, and he's not trying to hear any of it. Okay, despite him being diagnosed with stupid 19 and all of that again, and isn't this about his third or fourth time having it? I know that it's been more than once. But anyway, let's listen to the lies. Let's listen to the lies that Biden told, because he said that he was arrested. And he acts as though he makes the story sound almost a little convincing because he says that someone reminded him of it and said, do you remember that time? I just want y'all to pay attention. You all, maybe he's telling the truth. I don't know, but I don't believe it. You all let me know what you think.
And I said, honey, you haven't said anything. She said, Joey. She said, remember when you were a kid? Remember when I called you when you got out of the race with Brock, and you asked about him? He said, he's really bright. He's an honorable man. He'll make a good president. And I said, yeah, Mom, I remember that. I said, remember when you were a kid and they were desegregating Mayfield, the neighborhood we live, the neighboring neighborhood called Linfield? You were 14 or 15 years old. I told you not to go down there because there were people protesting, but you went down and you got arrested for being on the porch with a black family, and they brought you back home. I said, yeah, I remember that, Mom. She said, remember you had that job as a lifeguard in a country club setting? Did you want to be the only white guy to work in the east side in the projects as a lifeguard? I said, yeah, Mom. So let me get this straight, honey. The first black man in history has a chance to be president. You told him no. That's how it's always been with me.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not. Jamal said, Caucasian, please. And Melanie Trust said, we need receipts. Lisa said, he's lying. Priscilla said, oh, brother. Wendy said, he said, cap. Dorada said, sit down somewhere, Jim Crow Joe. Lock Vega said, Joey, have several seats, please, and thank you. Y'all know he knows he's lying, and why would he say it? You remember that time when you were a kid and you got locked up, you were sitting on the porch of that black family? He knows he was nowhere near no black family, okay? When sitting on their porch. T-Comp said, did he live in the jungle? I ain't forgot. Thank you. Okay, this is the same man that said his children going to school with black children would be the equivalent of a racial jungle. Okay? But he was sitting on a black person's porch and got arrested. Please sit down somewhere. Please sit down somewhere. Now, I'm going to play a video of this man who supposedly is very good at predicting election results. And he seems to think that no matter how disastrous Joe Biden's debate was with Trump, that has no bearing on the outcome of the election.
All of these pundits and pollsters and analysts that you see on all the cable channels and all the networks have no track record in predicting elections. And yet they come on and they claim they know how this debate is going to affect the outcome of elections. They have no idea. It's sports talk radio. It may be entertaining, but it has no scientific basis.
So what is the impact, you think?
Zero. Debates are not predictive of outcomes. Hillary Clinton won all 3 debates, still lost. John Kerry won all the debates, still lost. Barack Obama got trounced, 72 to 20% in the poll, worse than Biden, and went on to win. That's why we rely on the 13 keys which tap into the structure of how elections really work. And they show that Democrats' really only chance to win, contrary to everything you've heard, is with Biden running. Look at the incumbency key. Biden checks that off. the contest key. He checks that off. He was uncontested. It takes 6 keys to count out the White House party.
But you know,
that means
Alan,
of the remaining 11 keys, 6 would have to fall. Let me finish.
Yeah.
Biden doesn't run. They lose the contest key. They lose the incumbency, and only 4 more keys would have to fall.
I think that that's actually kind of what I was trying to get at here, is that the problem right now is that the Democratic Party is considering replacing Biden, mostly because it's unclear whether or not he actually physically can carry out the rest of this campaign and put up a fight against his opponent. So that seems like a fundamentally different thing than some of the items that you have in your rubric.
It's a huge mistake. They're not doctors. They don't know whether Biden is physically capable of carrying out a second term or not. Remember, a lot of folks were saying the same thing about Ronald Reagan, who was, 73, and age was very different then. And they said, he's not capable of carrying out another term. He won 49 states. So this is all foolhardy nonsense. The same pundits and pollsters who led us down the primrose path in 2016 are giving the Democrats horrible advice. This proves what I've been saying for years. Republicans have no principles. Democrats have no spine. Republicans are sticking with a blatant liar who lied for every 1 minute and 20 seconds of that debate. Donald Trump put out a lie. And by the way, lies stick. Debate performances can be overcome. And now the first sign of adversity, the spineless Democrats want to throw under the bus their own incumbent president.
What do you all think, honey? He was going in, right? So anyway, with that all being said, Sam says Reagan should have stayed on the Hollywood screen in Westerns. I'm just saying. Not the Hollywood screen. Okay, so listen. Now, with that all been said, I'm going to play some of Trump's speech. And, they said he was up there talking about Hannibal Lecter and all that, honey. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but let's listen to a few minutes just for entertainment purposes only. Because when they said Trump was up there talking about Hannibal Lecter, does he know that isn't a real person? That's just merely a fictional character? I have several questions. Let me put my overlay on the screen. Like, sub, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
People for your outpouring of love and support following the assassination attempt at my rally on Saturday. As you already know, the assassin's bullet came within a quarter of an inch of taking my life. So many people have asked me, what happened? Tell us what happened, please. And therefore, I will tell you exactly what happened. And you'll never hear it from me a second time because it's actually too painful to tell. It was a warm, beautiful day in the early evening in Butler Township in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
First of all, why is he telling it as though he's telling a bedtime story, as though he's reading, a fairy tale? It was a warm, sunny day in Butler, Pennsylvania. I cannot. But let's continue.
Music was loudly playing, and the campaign was doing really well. I went to the stage, and the crowd was cheering wildly. Everybody was happy. I began speaking very strongly, powerfully, and happily because I was discussing the great job my administration did on immigration at the southern border. We were very proud of it.
My name is Lucy, and I have to figure out who I am. Sorry, do we know each other? Don't think so. I think she's me.
Behind me and to the right was a large screen that was displaying a chart of border crossings under my leadership. The numbers were absolutely amazing. in order to see the chart, I started to, like this, turn to my right and was ready to begin a little bit further turn, which I'm very lucky I didn't do, when I heard a loud whizzing sound and felt something hit me really, really hard on my right ear. I said to myself, wow, what was that? It can only be a bullet. And moved my right hand to my ear, brought it down. My hand was covered with blood, just absolutely blood all over the place. I immediately knew it was very serious, that we were under attack, and in one movement proceeded to drop to the ground. Bullets were continuing to fly as very brave Secret Service agents rushed to the stage, and they really did. They rushed to the stage. These are great people at great risk, I will tell you, and pounced on top of me so that I would be protected. There was blood pouring everywhere, and yet, in a certain way, I felt very safe because I had God on my side. I felt that. The amazing thing is that prior to the shot, if I had not moved my head at that very last instant, the assassin's bullet would have perfectly hit its mark, and I would not be here tonight. We would not be together. The most incredible aspect of what took place on that terrible evening in the fading sun was actually seen later. In almost all cases, as you probably know, and when even a single bullet is fired, just a single bullet, and we had many bullets that were being fired, crowds run for the exits or stampede, but not in this case. It's very unusual. This massive crowd of tens of thousands of people stood by and didn't move an inch. In fact, many of them bravely, but automatically stood up looking for where the sniper would be. They knew immediately it was a sniper, and then began pointing at him. You can see that if you look at the group behind me. That was just a small group compared to what was in front. Nobody ran, and by not stampeding, many lives were saved. But that isn't the reason that they didn't move. The reason is that they knew I was in very serious trouble. They saw it. They saw me go down. They saw the blood and thought, actually most did, that I was dead. They knew it was a shot to the head. They saw the blood.
Okay, nobody thought his behind was dead. Okay, he got right up. Okay, he's just clearly embellishing. Please pay attention.
And there's an interesting statistic. The ears are the bloodiest part. If something happens with the ears, they bleed more than any other part of the body. For whatever reason, the doctors told me that. I said, why is there so much blood? He said, it's the ears. They bleed more. So we learned something, but they just, this beautiful crowd, they didn't want to leave me. They knew I was in trouble. They didn't want to leave me. Probably was when I for.
All right, all right. Hold on, beloveds. He was talking a whole lot. Let me see if I can find that part where he's talking about Hannibal Lecter. Here it is right here. This has got to be it right here. It's like a 2-minute clip. Hold on, beloveds. And then we got to, because I can't take it. They were right about it being boring. Please pay attention.
Academic Sound as my go-to resource for background music and sound effects for the last 6 years since I grew my
To the world, the entire world is pouring into our country because of this very foolish administration. The greatest invasion in history is taking place right here in our country. They are coming in from every corner of the earth, not just from South America, but from Africa, Asia, the Middle East. They're coming from everywhere. They're coming at levels that we've never seen before. It is an invasion indeed, and this administration does absolutely nothing to stop them. They're coming from prisons. They're coming from jails. They're coming from mental institutions and insane asylums. You know, the press is always on me because I say this. Has anyone seen Silence of the Lambs? The late, great Hannibal Lecter. He'd love to have you for dinner. That's insane asylums. They're emptying out their insane asylums. And terrorists are coming in at numbers that we've never seen before. Bad things are going to happen. Meanwhile, our crime rate is going up while crime statistics all over the world are going down because they're taking their criminals and they're putting them into our country. A certain country, and I happen to like the president of that country very much, but he's been getting great publicity because he's a wonderful shepherd of the country. He says how well the country's doing because their crime rate is down. And he said he's training all of these rough people. They're rough. He's training them. And I've been reading about this for 2 years. I think, oh, that's wonderful. Let's take a look at it.
Okay, so let me tell you guys what's ironic about all of that. What's ironic is the fact that he's sitting here complaining about all these illegals coming over here. They're criminals coming from prisons, jails, from insane asylums and all of that, and they're coming here. Well, the irony of it is his father was one of those criminals. Now, his father fled Germany because he was wanted for owning a brothel, okay, and for being a whole drug dealer. Does anyone know that? Did you all know that? His father fled Germany, came here with wealth that he'd built from having brothels over there and drug money. His own father. So I find it interesting. And then what about his wife? Someone says, exactly, Claudette. What about his wife, Melania, and her parents? So for him to be saying all of that, very interesting. He needs to sit down somewhere, honey. I absolutely cannot talk about the pot calling the kettle black, but hold on. Now I want you all to see this because I told you guys that all of this stuff that's happened with Trump and that attempted assassination, that's going to make some people who wouldn't even think about voting for him now vote for him. Because here's what people are thinking. Now I want you to hear what Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook and Instagram, had to say about Trump's attempted assassination.
I've done some stuff personally in the past. I'm not planning on doing that this time. And that includes, not endorsing either of the candidates. Now, look, there's obviously a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world. The historic events over over the weekend. And on a personal note, it's, seeing Donald Trump get up after getting shot in the face and pump his fist in the air with the American flag is one of the most badass things I've ever seen in my life. But look, it's, and I think, look, it's, at some level as an American, it's like hard to not get kind of emotional about that spirit and that fight. And I think that's why a lot of people like the guy.
Y'all want you all to pay attention because that's the absolute truth. That's how a lot of people who look like Mark Zuckerberg, that's how a lot of these people feel. Like that was a moment of triumph. Like he overcame the odds. He was fierce. He wasn't afraid. He didn't cower. He didn't bend. He didn't break. He stood up defiantly and shook his fist and said, fight, fight, fight. Ah, they love it. I want you all to pay attention. Now, Donald Trump, to some of them, is the equivalent of William Wallace from the movie Braveheart. That said, you may take our lives, but you'll never take our freedom. That's who they're looking at Trump like. That's who they're looking at Trump as if he's really some hero to be hailed and praised, and who was shrouded and covered by the protection of God. One person called him an angel and said that's what happens when you come for God's angels. Now, we all know Trump's no angel. This would be laughable if it weren't so serious that someone actually tried to take him out. But at the end of the day, listen to how he embellished the story. There was blood everywhere, all over my hands. This is all so nefarious. That's what you ought to pay attention. Claudette said delusional at its best. Easy said, with Halloween quickly approaching, I have made a costume discovery of being an ice agent. Not with Halloween quickly approaching. Oh my goodness, this is hilarious. Nandy says that fist. What are the names of those handsome brothers that put up the black leather gloved fist after they won the Olympics in the 1960s? Okay. And mind you, when they did that, do you know that they only had one pair of gloves because one of them actually forgot his gloves, and so the other one shared a glove with him. That's why they held up the different hands. One held up the left and one held up the right. Okay. But Trump is something else. Okay. Hold on. Let's get ready to get into this other receipt. Hold on. I have something else for you all to see. This is all crazy. So everyone, please like and share. Now, this is a video showing Biden in 2019 and him currently, and you can see such a drastic difference. Please pay attention.
I continue to think we have to make fundamental changes in civil rights. And those civil rights, by the way, include not just only African Americans, but the LGBT community. He wants to get rid of the ability of Medicare I did not oppose busing in America. What I opposed is busing ordered by the Department of Education. That's what I oppose. Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if you will determine the outcome of this election, vote. If you're able to vote early in your state, vote early. If you're able to vote in person, vote in person. Vote whatever way is the best way for you, because he cannot stop you. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look.
Trump is low down. Do you hear me? Trump is low down. Now, I didn't want to laugh because clearly this is no laughing matter, because we all have to get old if we live long enough. Okay. And it's very interesting to see how quickly one's cognitive abilities can decline. Because the first was from 2019 or 2020, and then the latter was from this year. Now, but why I laughed is because Trump said that he didn't know what he said, and he didn't think that Biden even knew what he said either. Trump is low down and nefarious, okay? That's all I have to say about that. That is all I have to say about that, okay? Terrible. And by the way, for the person who asked me, for the lady who asked me who were those two black men that held up those fists, I think it was Nandy. That was Tommy Smith and John Carlos that held up those black power fists at the Olympics. But that was all crazy. Now let's get into this other receipts. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. So let's talk about Noah Bush, because as I said, I reported to you all when it first happened how Noah's body was found in a barrel. And then, they said there was no evidence of foul play, which is absolutely not true. As I told you then, it wasn't true. I knew it was all lies and BS. Okay, so let's go to the first report for those of you who missed it. Then I'll give you the updated information. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, this is his family speaking shortly after his body was found.
The hot summer brings hot deals to Newton Peachtree Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. We're offering up to $12,700 off MSRP on select 2024 models. Plus, we have the largest selection in town. Big city selection, small town service. Newton Peachtree CDJR.
New information coming in about the death of an 8-year-old boy who that now has been ruled a homicide, and 2 juveniles now charged in the case just had their first appearance in court. All of this comes nearly 2 months after investigators found 8-year-old Noah Bush's body not far from his home near Jessup, hours after he went missing. The WTOC team has been tackling this news all day long as the district attorney made the announcement, followed by the juvenile detention hearing. Lindsay Singer joining us now in the WTOC newsroom. Lindsay, we'll never forget the family saying from day one that they thought that there was no way their son would go into that water willingly.
Yeah, exactly. And to the family, there were always questions in the days following Noah's death. Too many stories just didn't add up to what they knew about their son. And because of the push and the gut feeling, now they're one step closer to getting justice for Noah.
This whole entire tragedy has been tough.
It's been 55 days of agony.
I just want to say thank you so much to the community. If it weren't for you standing by my side, helping me to continue on to push for justice, we wouldn't have gotten as far as we have.
And 55 days of the Wayne County community pleading for answers. A homicide ruling in the death that took 8-year-old Noah Bush, a ruling that the family says they knew from the very beginning.
The story they were told 55 days ago was that their son accidentally drowned. They knew that that was not true then. Today, we confirm the same.
An 11-year-old and a 10-year-old will now face charges in the death of Noah Bush. At a juvenile detention hearing in Jessup only hours after the district attorney announced the homicide ruling, the 2 children were charged with juvenile detention court with bonds set for $10,000 and $5,000. The names of the juveniles have not been released, and according to the Wayne County Sheriff Office, Georgia state law does not allow names of juveniles to be released. In the initial report, the sheriff's office did say that there was no foul play suspected, but however, they were waiting on an autopsy. Wayne County Sheriff's Office sent WTOC this morning. They stated that they received the autopsy report on July 8th, and that confirmed the absence of an injury for his body consistent with a fight or use of a weapon. The medical examiner ruled the cause of death as drowning. According to the family lawyer, Noah walked away with 2 boys he knew, and they believe that that turned into an argument that ended in tragedy.
He walked away with people he thought were friends and trustworthy.
The Wayne County Sheriff Office says that they are still investigating if any adults had knowledge or involvement, and say if they do find a reason to believe that, it will not take 55 days to make an arrest.
Okay, so like I told you all, there was absolutely foul play. And here's the thing. They said that the police said there was no foul play in the first place, but then they said they didn't have the autopsy report. Well, the bottom line is they shouldn't have said anything until they got further proof. They should have said, as for right now, we can only speculate. Or as for right now, we're waiting for further evidence. We're waiting for the autopsy report. But they instantly said no reason to suspect foul play. And notice that they only ever say that when it is a Black person who's dead at the hands or suspected to be at the hands of someone who doesn't look like them. If that had been a little white child last seen with 2 Black kids and the Black mom, do you think they would have said no evidence of foul play so quick? No, they wouldn't have. Do you think they'd have taken all this time before they made an arrest? No, they wouldn't have. This is something that they always do. So we should be used to it at this point. But now the mother has also been arrested. Okay, that's the latest update. So, justice for Noah Bush. Mother charged after 2 white kids accused of drowning Black boy age 8, saying that we can't rule out that race may have played a factor in these juveniles' unthinkable acts the day Noah died. This is what attorney Mwoli Mel Davis said. So they go on to say that the Georgia drowning death of the 8-year-old child at the hands of 2 white children has been determined to be a homicide, as stated in a press release from the Davis Bozeman Johnson law firm. Now, on July the 10th of 2024, authorities arrested and charged 2 juveniles, ages 10 and 11, in connection with Noah Bush's killing in the city of Jessup. The arrest comes 2 months after Noah was found deceased underwater in a construction borrow pit near his home on May the 16th. He went missing on May the 15th. Medical examiners ruled Noah's death a homicide by drowning. So according to the report, the 11-year-old suspect is facing multiple charges, including simple battery and voluntary manslaughter, concealing the death of another, and criminal trespass. The 10-year-old was charged with concealing the death of another and criminal trespass. The charges came after a probable cause hearing where a lead detective testified. Now, Mawuli Mel Davis, an attorney representing the Bush family, stated that according to the lead detective's testimony, the 11-year-old was captured in a video before Noah's death and shown assaulting the black boy and repeatedly using racial slurs against him. They said, we can't rule out that race may have played a factor in these juveniles' unthinkable acts the day Noah died. Well, of course, race played a factor. They were calling him racial slurs. So we already know that, because here's the thing. Let's not forget how that black woman who got into a fight with the Asian woman, and she called her a little Asian girl, and she got arrested and charged with a hate crime for saying that. How was that a racial slur when she called her what she was? So if they're calling him racial slurs, of course it was based on race. And so they should be charged with the whole hate crime as far as I'm concerned. I don't care how old they are, because if they were black children, they would be treated accordingly. Now, it goes on to say that both juveniles were ordered detained with bail set at $10,000 for the 11-year-old and $5,000 for the 10-year-old. A mother of one of the suspects was also charged. Additionally, Natalie Hardison, the mother of the 11-year-old juvenile, was arrested on felony charges for providing false statements during the investigation into Noah's death. I thought they were brothers, but these are 2 separate little kids. Now, Noah's mother, Demetrius Bush, expressed gratitude that at least one adult was being prosecuted, emphasizing the family's determination to hold all involved accountable, saying that our family is grateful that at least one of the adults involved is being prosecuted. Until everyone involved is in any way is held accountable under the law, we will not stop fighting for justice. We thank the community for their ongoing support. This is what Demetrius Bush said in a statement, saying the arrest of this child's mother is another significant step towards full justice for Noah's family. We knew that something of this magnitude could not have happened, and some adults couldn't have happened, and some adults not know about it and be involved. This is what the Bush is a family attorney. Yeah, because somebody had to help them cover it all up. Okay, somebody had to help them get their story straight. Now, investigations are ongoing to determine if any adults had knowledge or involvement in Noah's tragic death. They say, per the Georgia Gazette, the initial reports from the Wayne County Sheriff's Office indicated that Noah had wandered into the pit and drowned with no suspicion of foul play. However, Noah's parents were skeptical because he had a fear of deep water and would not likely have entered the pit voluntarily. They hired a private investigator to delve deeper into the case. Now, amid mounting pressure from Noah's family and local protesters for a thorough investigation, the narrative surrounding Noah's death evolved. See, here's the thing. If Black people had not gotten together, if the community had not gotten together and started protesting and demanding answers and demanding that someone be held accountable because they knew that it was lies and BS and that there was foul play, then they wouldn't have done anything. You see, this is what they try to do. They try to test the waters just to see if we're just going to go ahead and just be quiet about it, if we're just going to let it go. Or if we make a big deal about it, then that's when the truth starts slowly coming out. Now they're talking about the case evolved. Okay, we shouldn't have to go through all of that because they don't. So goes on to say that amid mounting pressure from Noah's family and local protesters for a thorough investigation, the narrative surrounding Noah's death evolved. Now, during an interview, Johnson said that he believes Noah went with the 2 boys, trusting them, but their interaction escalated into a dispute that tragically resulted in his death. He says he walked away with people he thought were his friends and trustworthy. Now, as highlighted by the media, the Wayne County Sheriff's Office said in its initial report that it was waiting on Noah's autopsy. It received an autopsy report on July the 8th, which confirmed the absence of any injuries, which we already know that. Now, the story we were told was that their son accidentally drowned. Okay, they knew that was not true then and today. Okay, we confirm the same. This is what Johnson told the outlet. So just a bunch of lies. And that's what happens. That's why I don't know why black people keep letting their kids go off with people who don't look like them and they're the only person that looks like them. Okay, I don't know why they do it. And that is just not a good idea ever, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. So anyway, and we can't get too excited too quickly because we don't know how far this is going to go. Are they going to get consequences or are they just going to get slaps on the wrist? Because let's not forget how sometimes they get arrested and charged, but what happens after that? Okay, it may not be what people expect. So let's go to this other report real quick. That's why in Melanie We Trust said shouldn't have been shot. Exactly. Okay, let's go to this last video about this, and then we're moving on to the next story. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
This is going to be, do they really understand what's happening enough to be able to follow through with the process?
2 juveniles ages 10 and 11 are being charged with multiple crimes in connection with the death of 8-year-old Noah Bush of Jessup, the most serious being involuntary manslaughter. Attorney Eric Kramer says that charges like this are not unheard of.
I've seen cases where children as young as 11 or 12 are brought up on some fairly serious allegations. So it's not unheard of that these kind of charges would be brought, but there's going to be a lot more question of, like I said earlier, whether or not the children of this age are even really able to understand what's going on.
Kramer tells me that proving that the children knew what they were doing is going to be the challenge in this case.
His intent isn't necessarily the intent to cause someone's death, right? In this case, it's the intent to do the act which causes the death. And so the act of, pushing a child, and, in this case, my understanding is that he was pushed into the deep end of a ditch. That act of itself, the intent of pushing him, even if they didn't have it in their head that we know what's going to happen, is going to be the biggest part of what I think they're going to be dealing with here.
When it comes down to the timeline of events, Kramer says the juvenile justice system moves very fast. As far as consequences, there's only so much they can do because of the defendant's age.
It can range from anywhere from a period of supervised probation all the way up to what's called a general 2-year commitment to the Department of Juvenile Justice. And essentially what that is that they would be put into the custody of DJJ. They would be screened for whether or not they can be returned home on conditions, whether or not they need to go to some kind of a group home, all the way up to restrictive custody. The most serious disposition that a judge could give may still not be what the victim's family would consider justice being done, but we're restrained by the juvenile code.
So just like I said, slaps on the wrist, okay? And they're not restrained by a darn thing, okay? There are some children who are charged as adults and they get the same type of sentences. There are some who are not charged as adults, but they still get stiffer penalties than what they're talking about giving them. 2 years? No, I'm sorry. That wouldn't work for me, okay? That wouldn't work for me at all, and it wouldn't work for me, okay? That wouldn't be the case, all right? That would not be the case for me. I promise you that. Now, with that all being said, so, and he's also trying to say that there's a possibility they didn't understand what they were doing. Oh, they knew what they were doing. 10 and 11 years old, yeah, you absolutely know about death. You know about murder. You know about these things at that age, okay? I'm sorry, but you do. You understand and know about these things. And, of course, they tried to cover it up, okay? And supposedly an adult or adults helped them. So you think they didn't know what they were doing? Why did they push them into the deep end? Because that's what he specifically said. They pushed them into the deep end. Why not the end that wasn't deep? Why not? I have questions. Okay, they absolutely knew what the hell they were doing. Please miss me with it. I always want to make excuses for Billy and Bob. Always making excuses. I'm not here for it at the end of the day. But anyway, I digress. Now let's talk about it, because this racist cop, got fired. Infamous Chicago cop. They say he'd been in trouble a myriad of times. Okay, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Infamous Chicago cop is seen in disgusting confrontation just 2 years after beating a Cubs fan outside of Wrigley Field while saying, "I love this part, free shots." That's what he said. So let's talk about it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, a veteran Chicago police officer of 29 years has been stripped of his police powers after a video was posted online of him allegedly using a racial slur while at a Chicago bar. Lieutenant Andrew DeCuris, age 55, and he looks a whole lot older than 55. Please pay attention. I'll show him in a second. Was identified by a fellow bar patron, Raheem, who posted the video to his personal Instagram page. He recognized DeCuris as the same man who beat a Chicago Cubs fan so badly in 2016 that he needed to be hospitalized. Now DeCuris is in the headlines again while officials investigate fresh allegations of misconduct while he was off duty. So Rasheen posted 3 clips to social media that showed 2 men in an altercation at a bar last weekend. In one of the video clips, a man identified as DeCuris can be heard seen looking down the length of a bar, apparently angry at another man standing just feet away. "What the F, bro?" the man can be heard saying. In the second clip, DeCuris can be heard angrily screaming insults while aggressively pointing in the face of the man standing in front of him. You're effing nobody, ninja. That's what he said, with a jigger. That's more like it. As he's led away, a bystander can be heard saying that he had been dropping the N-bombs. So let me just show this picture where he's all up in the man's face. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. And this video, this picture right here, that's him all up in the man's face, as you can see. Now, let me show a better picture of him. That's him right there. DeCuris. And so now let's go to the confrontation, because he's all up in this man's face talking real greasy. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, here we go.
I don't like crime. At this point, I don't even care you see all Oh, no, on that. Oh, we supposed to call him a nigga. So the white guy got to fix that. What's up with that? This shit crazy, man.
Who the fuck is you? Yeah, he's dropping M-bombs like he.
If I pop the shit out of him, I'll be gone. He gonna end up getting beat up by everybody around this bitch.
You give me 5?
Nah, ain't you the guy that said nigga? Okay? Ain't no shaking hands with that shit. That ain't funny, bro. Ain't you a police officer?
Not me, dude.
Yeah.
I ain't nobody, dude.
Nah.
Not at all.
We with the balls to see.
Right. I ain't shit, dude.
We'll see. We got your face.
Or nobody.
All right, nigga. Yeah, man, I don't know what's going on, folks. All these white people racist as hell, talking about niggas and shit. This motherfucker right here saying nigga behind us, they police and shit.
Thank you.
The Chicago police lieutenant relieved of his police powers after a shocking confrontation caught on camera.
Our Tia Ewing spoke with the man who recorded it. Tia.
Well, Scott and Dawn, this officer was off duty when all of this unfolded. I did speak to the man who recorded the video. He doesn't want his entire name out there in fear of retaliation, but we did do some digging and we found out this isn't the first time this officer has been accused of wrongdoing.
A racial slur hurled during a heated argument Friday, July 12th. The man in the blue used the N-word. He got into another altercation with someone else on the same night on this downtown Chicago rooftop. This time, the person he was arguing with identified him as a police officer. Behind the cell phone video recording is Raheem. He confronted the man on the spot.
That ain't funny, bro. Ain't you a police officer? Not me, dude. Yeah.
Days later, Raheem posted the video on Instagram, garnering thousands of views and an investigation.
I ain't really know how to react because it's like, I know they the police and he not talking to me, but it's still affecting me. So it had me feeling like in a weird position. It's like I'm upset and I ain't know how to like direct my anger.
The Civilian Office of Police Accountability is investigating the incident, and Lieutenant Andrew DeCurris. He's a 29-year veteran on the force.
They need to actually pay attention to the complaints made, pay attention to the officers they have, because these are people that's arresting our communities.
It's not the first time DeCurris has been in the headlines. This is from our website in 2021, stemming from a federal jury finding that DeCurris used excessive force when a man was tackled and beaten during Cubs World Series celebrations in 2016. The man was awarded more than $50,000. At that time, DeCurris had 73 complaints against him.
Okay, so you all heard that he had 73 complaints against him. Now that's absolutely crazy. Okay, please pay attention. 73 complaints. Yeah, he's definitely a problem. All right. Now, with that all being said, he can get fired for something like that, but not for deleting somebody at a traffic stop. Please pay attention. Who's unarmed, mind you. So anyway, let's talk about this state trooper. Okay, now this former state trooper was accused of raping his girlfriend's daughter, who was about 11 years old. And he only got like 30 days in jail. Please pay attention. This is also sick. Ex-state trooper pleads guilty to lesser charge in child S abuse case. The victim told police that Todd Chisholm, a former Vermont trooper, groomed her for years and once assaulted her while his daughter was in the room. This is all so crazy. Now, this all happened on Wednesday when he pleaded guilty to the lesser charge. Okay, in the plea deal, Todd Chisholm, who's 59 years old, agreed to a sentence to 30 days in prison and 6 years of probation for lewd and lascivious behavior. Okay, in December of 2020, he had initially been charged also with repeated S assault of a child under the age of 16 and 2 counts of S assault. The victim, who is now 31 and identified in the affidavit as KB, came forward in 2019, telling detectives that she'd met Chisholm while he was having an extramarital affair with her mother. KB told investigators that the affair lasted from 1998 until 1999. Now, according to the affidavit, Chisholm began grooming her by making comments that KD was said made her feel very uncomfortable, telling her that she was beautiful and he couldn't wait until she got older. Mind you, he's dating her mother at this point and married. KB told detectives that Chisholm then started making aggressive sexual advances towards her in 2002 when she was 9 years old and started kissing on her. According to the affidavit, Chisholm told KB that she couldn't tell anyone that it had to be their secret. Then proceeded to make more sexual advances over time. KB alleged that in 2003, Chisholm sexually assaulted her while his own daughter was asleep in the same room, according to court documents. And at that incident, or after that incident, KB alleged that the assaults continued in secret as Chisholm continued his relationship with his wife. When he came around, KB said he would treat her as his lover, like she was a little grown woman. Chisholm told KB he loved her and that they would be together when she was older, according to the document. It wasn't until she was about 20 that she realized Chisholm's behavior was wrong and then reported it to the police. Detectives who interviewed Chisholm's wife at the time said she confronted him about the sexual assault in 2018 and demanded that he pack his belongings and leave their home. Now, she told detectives that she also caught Chisholm under the covers spooning with his own daughter, who was 12 at the time. This is all sick. With his own child. Now, when confronted, Chisholm reportedly acknowledged that he was a piece of ish. Okay, he should not he should not be on this side of the ground, and that he should be dead. That's what he said about himself. Now, after conducting several more interviews with the victim's mother and a pastor, he reportedly confessed to officers and they issued a warrant for Chisholm's arrest. According to the Brattleboro Reformer newspaper, Chisholm, who was a state trooper for 13 years until 2001, accepted a plea deal Wednesday in which he pleaded guilty to the lesser charge of lewd and lascivious behavior with the child. And as part of that plea deal, he was offered a sentence of 4 to 5 years in jail, which would be suspended except for 30 days and 6 years of probation. Now, Windham County courts confirmed that Chisholm's sentencing hearing will be on July the 3rd. An attorney representing Chisholm, who lives in North Brookfield, Massachusetts, did not immediately respond to comments. So 30 days. I want you to pay attention. This is all nefarious. Okay, this is all so crazy. And my thing is, what took them so long to get this out? Let me just show you all a picture of him too. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. This is him right here. Let me share my screen. That's him. That is him. Okay, so I'm about to be out of here. Let me ask you all this. Did I show you all the video yesterday with the woman talking about why Black men date white women? Once in the chat, because I can't remember if I showed you all that video yesterday or not on this channel. Did I show you all the video where the white woman from Germany was talking about how easy it was for her to get a Black man and saying that Black women don't take care of Black men and that's why they go to them? Sandra, please watch what you put in the chat, beloved. Watch your comments in the chat. Okay, some people are saying too. Okay, so I clearly didn't show it. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, here's what she had to say about how Black women don't take care of Black men. And it was so easy for her to get one.
I already knew I had him because there was simply no competition out there for me. But let's just look at it objectively. You had this average Black American guy who now was able to choose between what he was dealing with before and somebody completely new. And let me tell you, the moment I stepped into that man's life, he really didn't know how to deal with my femininity because I was not loud. I was not screaming. I was not trying to, be louder than him. I didn't interrupt him because that's not something that I learned from home. If somebody would speak, and especially a man, you would let that man speak and then you would listen and then say whatever you have to say, right? So I was clean. I cooked. He didn't know what it was when a woman is actually in the room asking him, like, do you want something to drink? Before I got myself something to drink. Do you want something to eat? Before I started to eat my food, I would ask him, do you want to have a bite? I would come out of nowhere and just have a fruit bowl and just offer him some fruit. He didn't know none of this. So my husband, back then boyfriend, really thought this was a dream come true. He didn't know how to deal with none of this because all this me coming through, just being nurturing by nature, his peoples and his family didn't even do that for him. Like the family, there is no family unit. The average family, especially Black American family, has barely a family unit. There is no breakfast, lunch, and dinner at set times. And these are things that I introduced my husband to with my family. Can you imagine that impact that I had on him back then? So gentlemen, do not be afraid of traveling. There are so many more women out there who are willing to take care of you. It doesn't matter if they're young. It doesn't matter if they're older. They are willing to take care of you, willing to work with you, willing to be a part of your life. You don't have to deal with whatever you are dealing with back in your hometown because unfortunately, a lot of American women are lost in the delusional world that they are living in, and they don't even understand that they are going to be lonely for a long time, if not for the rest of their life. They say by choice, but I don't believe them.
Karen, please sit down somewhere. First of all, who cares what she believes? They say by choice, but she doesn't believe it. Well, here's what I believe. I believe that the man that she's dealing with, who was so shocked that she brought him something to eat, that she was treating him kindly and giving him fruit and all of that, well, he's just not used to having anybody to do that because of the people that he chose. Doesn't have anything to do with whether or not they were Black. Those are the kind of women that he chose. Some people choose sorry ass people for mates. Okay? That's what they do. At the end of the day, I didn't hear her say one thing that she does or did for that man that sounded so spectacular to me. Did anyone else? I didn't hear her say anything that she did that was so spectacular. Sorry, what? And then talk about don't be afraid to travel the world. Honey, they're out here recruiting. They're out here recruiting black men for foolishness. I just want you to pay attention. The sad thing is some of these obtuse Negroes fall for it. And then the thing is, I don't care who dates who and what race or ethnic group you choose to date, but here's the thing that gets my goat. When these black men go out here and they date women who don't look like us, and then they want to sit there and say, well, you know, black women, they're just gold diggers. Or black women, they're just too aggressive. Or black women, they're always got an attitude. That's not all black women. So don't try to use that as your excuse. And in fact, if you want to date outside of your race, go ahead and do so, whether you're a black woman or a black man. If you want to date outside of your race, go ahead and do so by all means. But don't sit up there and try to disparage other black people, okay, and act like that's the reason you're doing it. Because the bottom line is you're doing it because you want to. Because I'm going to tell you like this, and this is how you know they're full of cap, that these people who date outside of their race are doing it because that's what they want to do. They're not doing it for any other reason. They're not doing it because black women are loud, angry, mad, or whatever. That's not it. Because they know darn well all black women aren't the same, and they know darn well all black men aren't the same for the women who try to use the same excuse. It's just like this. If I don't drink, let me just think of something. If I don't drink grape juice, right? If I don't drink grape juice, and I don't like grape juice, in fact, I hate grape juice. I never wanted to drink grape juice ever. And I only like to drink orange juice and cherry juice. And then I go to someone's house and they don't have orange juice or cherry juice. And they say, well, all we got is grape juice. Well, I don't like grape juice. So I tell them, well, this is all we got. If you want to drink juice, this is what you're going to have to drink. So I'm going to sit there and drink the grape juice because that's all they got. No, I'm just not going to drink juice. I'll drink water or something else. At the end of the day, so they can miss me with it. I don't even know if that was a good analogy, but you get my point. At the end of the day, don't sit there and try to act like you're dating outside of your race because black women did you dirty or black women did this, that, and the third. Because anybody can do anyone dirty. It doesn't matter what race or ethnic group you belong to. It just doesn't. Okay? It just doesn't. Lamont's laughing at me and said, not grape juice. I can't. I said grape juice because really that's my favorite juice. That's really my favorite juice. But nonetheless, don't try to act like it's us. And then she said, because she was clean, she was in her femininity, she said that she cooked for him. Like she's trying to imply that black women don't. And now, mind you, towards the end, she said American women. You don't have to deal with those American women, but she really wants to say black women because the man she's talking about is black. Okay. That's what that was all about. But at the end of the day, like I said, all of us don't act the same. There's loud white women. They're called Karens. Okay. There's aggressive, mean, and rude white women. We call them Karens. All right. There's loud Latina women like Cardi B that act aggressive and manly. Nobody talks about them. They always want to say the angry black woman. Sit down somewhere. The only reason black women are angry is due to oppression. Like I keep telling y'all, in the Bible, it says, surely oppression maketh the wise man mad. So black people in general should be angry about being oppressed. All right, at the end of the day, that doesn't have anything to do with us having black love for one another. And at the end of the day, that's a narrative that they love to push. They love to play gender politics or politics, as I call it, and act like black women and black men can't get along. You know, there's no nuclear family. We can't get along. The fathers are absent. They're not taking care of their kids. I've shown you all with receipts last year that, in fact, black men absolutely do take care of their kids. There's some of them that don't, but there's some in every group that don't. Okay? There's some in every group that don't. What about that lady? What was her name? Kimberly Klacik or whatever her name is, the one that was running for governor or something in Baltimore. Y'all know who I'm talking about? She was running for some political office in Baltimore. You all know Kim Klacik. And she's married to that white guy who's got 6 baby mamas, okay, and 6 kids. They're all mixed. And is he a deadbeat dad? Well, they say he is. Okay, so please let's not act like black men are the only ones who don't always take care of their kids. And the ones of them that don't take care of their kids, they got that probably in their DNA from slavery. Because during slavery, black men didn't take care of their kids, and that's because they couldn't. Because their kids were taken away from them and sold off into slavery. So I'm just saying years and centuries of generational trauma is the reason for some of the dysfunctional things that occur in the black community. Although we can't use that as an excuse to continue the same cycle of foolishness. But the bottom line is, what about these other people? What's their excuse? Do they have one, or are they just nefarious? Okay. Why do they always want to point the finger at us? And don't black women have to, in fact, be strong? Don't we have to, in fact, be strong? Because here's the thing. Like Malcolm X said, and it's still true till this day, black women are the most disrespected group on the planet. So we have to be strong. We have to develop a thick skin. We have to be able to endure and, adversity, to get over obstacles, to stand there beside a black man who's getting beaten down by society and oppression and a system of wanton supremacy, and stand there to help boost him. Okay, so at the end of the day, I'm sorry if we can't always be feminine and delicate like damsels in distress. Karen, while she's sitting there telling you don't have to deal with whatever you're dealing with. I gave him some fruit. Girl, you gave him some fruit. That's all you did. She acted like she really did something when she gave him some fruit. And then I bet you fried him some unseasoned chicken and some potato salad with raisins. Is that what she did next? Please sit down somewhere. Please sit down somewhere, because I absolutely cannot. Okay, I do a whole lot more than anything she said for my man. Okay, so please don't try to act like people being sorry or not being an adequate partner doesn't cross racial boundaries. Okay, at the end of the day, don't act like it's all black women, honey, at the end of the day. Now, with that all being said, everyone please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Oh, let me tell you all one more piece of good news before I roll out of here. Do you all remember the teacher? Remember the teacher that got his braids taken out? Hold on. They said, I read somewhere that he didn't get fired. Hold on. Hold on, beloveds. I read somewhere that he was going to be able to keep his job. Now, he was fired. Hold on. I'm just trying to make sure, because people be putting out lies. Hold on. Okay, I'll have to look further into it. But someone sent me something saying that he didn't lose his, or they got his job back or something like that. So I can't find it right now. I'm going to have to look into it. But T-Cope says Salmonella and Candida probably stay on deck. Lamont says you can't make this ish up. Okay, you absolutely can. You all are terrible. Anyway, let me get out of here. Okay, everyone please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, I love you all to life. Everyone enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Enjoy the rest of your strong end, not the weekend, leaving you in a weakened state of mind. Okay, and if you haven't watched Tyler Perry's new movie, Divorce in the Black with Megan Good and Corey Hardrick, yeah, you should catch it because it is good. I enjoyed it. All right, so anyway, love you guys, and I will talk to you all again soon. Until next time, always do something constructive, productive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Hey, yo, Nick, hit him with that flavor. Soul all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece. This time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they